Yo, what's up? Dr. Swole here, MD, pro physique athlete. Today I'm going to be sharing a full 5-day hypertrophy program using the upper-lower full body split. This is a hybrid split that combines both upper-lower and full body into a 5-day setup. In particular, the split is set up as upper-lower, full body. So we basically have a 4-day upper-lower split with a full body day tacked on at the end. This is a unique 5-day setup and it comes with some interesting advantages and disadvantages that we'll talk about later. We'll start off with a program walkthrough where I'll share everything you'll need to know to run the program yourself, including exercises, sets, and reps. Then we'll talk about the weekly layout or how to spread out the workouts across the week. And finally, we'll talk about the pros and cons of this 5-day hypertrophy setup using the upper-lower full body split. Alright, let's do our program walkthrough. This is Dr. Swole's 5-day upper-lower full body program. It's a moderate volume program set for intermediate to advanced athletes. The split is set up as upper body day 1, lower body day 1, upper body day 2, lower body day 2, and full body day. Here are the exercises and there are the sets and reps. Down here we have the total number of sets for each workout so you have an idea of workout length. And down here we have the total number of sets for each muscle group each week. Let's get started with upper body day 1. We start off with weighted dips for the chest and triceps. These are set up in a top set back off method fashion. So you're going to work up to one top heavy set of 6 to 10 reps, followed by 2 back off sets of 6 to 10 reps with about 10% lighter weight. This will allow you to get in some heavy strength work, which works really well with weighted dips, while still accumulating some volume with those lighter weight, higher rep sets. Then we have T-bar rows, 3 sets, and we're also using a top set back off method here with basically the same setup as we had for dips. I find T-bar rows actually do work quite well even with relatively heavy programming. Then we have machine flies for the chest, 3 sets of 10 to 15. After that, lat pull downs for the back, 3 sets of 10 to 15, followed by cable press downs for the triceps, 3 sets of 10 to 15. And while you're on the cable stack, you can superset these with cable upright rows for the side delts and also the traps, 3 sets of 6 to 10. Finally, we have a little bit more side delt work with cable lateral raises, 2 sets of 8 to 12. Going on to lower body day 1, we start off with squats for the quads, 4 sets. And we're using a top set back off method here, so you're going to work up to 1 top heavy set of 5 to 8 reps, followed by 3 back off sets of 5 to 8 reps with lighter weight. Then we have Romanian deadlifts for the glutes and hamstrings, 2 sets of 6 to 10. Following that, dumbbell walking lunges for the quads, but also the glutes and hamstrings, 3 sets of 8 to 12. Then we have a bit of bicep work here. So we have barbell curls for the biceps, 3 sets of 8 to 12. And rope hammer curls also for the biceps, 2 sets of 10 to 15. You'll see that I've moved biceps off of upper body day onto lower body day. This is a modified split. As you know, I always make modifications, and we'll talk about the advantages of this later. Then we have machine calf raises for the calves. We're using a mile rep scheme here, so you're going to work up to 1 main set of 10 to 20 reps, followed by 7 mini sets of 4 to 6 reps with about 10 seconds of rest in between all of these. This will allow you to capitalize on that close to failure zone, and it's a very time efficient way to train. I estimate this to be around 5 straight sets. Then going to upper body day 2, we start out with dumbbell bench press for the chest, 4 sets. And you're going to work up to 1 top heavy set of 5 to 8 reps, followed by 3 back off sets of 5 to 8 reps with lighter weight. And dumbbell bench press is our priority chest movement of the program. You'll see that I've set up this program around major movements. T-bar rows are going to be our main back movement, squats the main quad movement, dumbbell bench press the main chest movement, and deadlifts the main glute and hamstring movement. This split, particularly the upper lower segment of it, allows you to fit in these main movements and build workouts around them. Then we have machine overhead press, which mainly hits the front delts, but also hits a bit of upper pecs and triceps, 3 sets of 6 to 10. After that, weighted chin-ups for the back, 3 sets of 6 to 10. Cable rows for the back, 2 sets of 8 to 12. Then we have overhead cable extensions for the triceps, 2 sets of 12 to 20. While you're on the cable stack, you can superset these with cable upright rows for the side delts, 3 sets of 10 to 15. Finally, we have some more side delt work, dumbbell lateral raises, 2 sets of 8 to 12. Moving on to lower body day 2, we start off with deadlifts for the glutes and hamstrings, 2 sets, and you're going to work up to 1 top heavy set of 5 to 8 reps, followed by a back off set of 5 to 8 reps with about 10% lighter weight. This kind of top set back off method with just 2 sets works quite well with the deadlift, and I feel like it's good enough volume to allow you to progress. This is basically the setup I'm currently using for my deadlift. You will see me incorporating flavors of my current programming styles into the programs that I make. Then we have hack squats for the quads, 3 sets of 8 to 12. After that, leg presses also for the quads, 3 sets of 8 to 12. And while you're on the leg press machine, you can finish off with calf raises for the calves, we're going to do my reps again. So a main set of 8 to 15 reps, followed by 7 mini sets of 3 to 5 reps. Then we have line bicep curls for the biceps, 3 sets of 6 to 10. So again, we moved biceps off of upper body day onto lower body day. And we have some cable ladder raises for the side delts, 2 sets of 10 to 15. So I've taken a bit of side delt work and split it up off of this upper body day 2 onto lower body day 2. This allows me to increase my frequency of side delt training and allows me to hit a couple more sets of side delts when they're fresh. Then we go into our full body day. We start off with incline bench press for the chest, 3 sets of 6 to 10. After that, chest supported rows for the back, 4 sets of 12 to 20. Then we have easy bar skull crushers for the triceps, 2 sets of 8 to 12. Machine preacher curls for the biceps, 2 sets of 12 to 20. Then we have dumbbell ladder raises for the side delts, 3 sets of 12 to 20. You can superset your tricep work with your bicep work or your bicep work with your side delt work. Then we have leg extensions for the quads, 3 sets of 12 to 20. And leg curls for the hamstrings, 3 sets of 10 to 15. Note here that this full body day comes right after our lower body day. Since you're going to be tired from this lower body day, this is a bit more of a pump day where you'll see that we're using lighter weights and higher reps. The pressing movements are a little bit of an exception to this, but these movements tend to be not as fatiguing as some of the other movements like back and leg training. Just to go through our frequencies here, note that our quads are being trained 3 times per week. Glutes and hamstrings are getting trained 3 times per week. Chest is getting trained 3 times per week. Back gets trained 3 times per week. Side delts are getting trained 4 times per week. Biceps are getting trained 3 times per week. Triceps are getting trained 3 times per week. And calves are getting trained twice per week. So you'll notice that this full body day automatically increases our frequency for pretty much all muscle groups since it's a full body day. And notice that biceps also indirectly get increased in frequency since they get used indirectly with back training movements. So you could actually say that biceps are getting used with every workout. Okay, now that you've seen the program, let's talk about the weekly layout. So we've got upper body day 1, lower body day 1, rest. Upper 2, lower 2, full body, and then rest. Let's talk about the layout of days. First of all, when it comes to upper lower, you want your upper body day coming before your lower body day because a really tough lower body day could impact your upper body day coming afterwards. Now, the interesting thing about this split is bringing in that full body day. One of the main things that this full body day does is that it increases the frequency of all of your muscle group training. You're automatically bumping everything up to at least a 3 times per week frequency. I think this actually has a lot of advantages. Mainly, it allows you to distribute your volume so you're able to do a few more sets when you're relatively fresh. Now, instead of lumping all your volume into 4 days, you get to split up some of it and move it onto a full body day. In particular, you're going to be relatively rested for the upper body training that comes on this full body day, and this can allow you to squeeze out more productive volume across the week in total. This also allows you an extra touch point for your upper body day training if you really wanted to work on strength. So for example, I didn't program it this way, but if you wanted to have a bench press specialization where you were benching 3 times per week, then this split could allow you to do that. And you wouldn't be able to do that in something like a 4-day upper lower or push-pull legs. Now notice that we do have some lower body day training coming back to back since we had to train a lower body day again on a full body day right after lower body day 2. But notice that I put relatively easier movements on this full body day, just leg extensions and leg curls, and I programmed them light with higher reps, so this won't be as big of an issue. Note that my placement of the full body day here favors the upper body since this day is separated from our upper body days. So you can really put some priority on some of your upper body movements on that day. This balances out the split a little bit since upper lower tends to bias you towards the lower body a little bit. If you really want to favor the lower body, you could try switching these 2 days so that you get more insulation between lower body movements, and that would allow you to place some higher priority leg movements on this full body day. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of this upper lower full body program. Starting with the pros. This program has a high frequency for all muscle groups. That is, once you add that full body day at the end of the week, you're automatically training everything at least 3 times per week. I did star this because calves are only getting trained twice per week. That being said, you could easily change this by tacking on a little bit of calf work onto your full body day. As we said, this higher frequency allows you to distribute your volume over more days. This is really powerful, especially when your volumes start getting higher. If you respond well to low volumes, you may not need this higher frequency. But even then, I do think you'll find that your performance will improve overall when you spread out your work over slightly more days. Next, this program has good fatigue distribution. Since we have that extra full body day in the program, it takes the heat off of some of our other days. Keep in mind that in this program, your lower body days are still going to be significantly tougher than your other days. Next, this program has an interesting way of using DUP. DUP is daily undulating periodization, and the idea is that you have some days targeted towards heavier work and some days targeted towards lighter work. In particular, that extra full body day at the end of the week lends itself really well to doing higher rep lightweight work. This can be nice from a mental standpoint, and it also allows you to work around these higher frequencies. As we said, later in the week, your lower body gets trained twice in a row since you have lower body day 2 and then that full body day. But since we push our lighter leg work onto that day, it makes it a lot more manageable. This is one of the underrated values of DUP in my opinion. When you have certain days that are earmarked for lighter work, you can place them around the week at will a lot more easily. If all of your days are centered around heavy training, it's hard to increase that frequency and start placing days back to back. Finally, this program gives you more programming freedom. This is an extension of the last point where when we have that extra full body day at the end of the week, it just gives us more options to play with. As I said before, if you wanted to have a high frequency of benching, you could totally do that in this program. If you really want to prioritize your back or your arms, you could very easily stack in more volume with that full body day. Also, I want to point out that that full body day should be seen more of as a modified full body day. That is, you don't need to train every single muscle group on it. So if you looked at this program and you felt that a certain muscle group didn't need more volume, you could always strike that muscle group out of that last full body day. So that extra day really allows you to pinpoint target the muscle groups that you want to add some more volume for. Now, in terms of cons of this program, first of all, as we mentioned before, your leg training does come back to back later in the week, where we have that lower body day 2 and then that full body day. This can be an issue, but as we said before, you can get around this with intelligent exercise selection and choice of rep ranges. If anything, you may have a bit of difficulty with quads, but with the hamstrings, you'll notice that I chose deadlifts for the day coming before, and deadlifts are relatively less hamstring dominant than something like an RDL. So stacking deadlifts and then leg curls back to back actually isn't much of an issue. Beyond the fact that leg training comes back to back later in the week, this program also has the potential for overlapping soreness of other muscle groups since we're ratcheting up the frequency. That extra full body day means we're automatically training every muscle group 3 times per week or more. And this does require some auto regulation to be able to handle. That is, you're going to have to be able to modify your workouts depending on how you're feeling. So if you're still sore from the workout before, you might want to back off a little bit. So for that reason, I would not recommend this split for an absolute beginner. A beginner often has trouble gauging how close they are going to failure, so something like twice per week frequency tends to be a good start for beginners. Finally, in this program, you have triceps trained after pushing movements. This is an inherent disadvantage of the upper-lower split. Since your triceps are used indirectly with pushing movements, they will be a little bit fatigued by the time you get to your direct tricep work after. This is not so much of a problem though, since our tricep and pushing work is spread out over 3 days per week, so you don't have as much volume concentrated on any one day. You'll notice that I made some of my favorite modifications to the upper-lower split, where I took biceps off of upper body days, and I split up some of our side delt work across more days. This allows you to train those muscle groups when they're fresh. Biceps are always coming second fiddle to back training, and you'll find that you'll perform better with your bicep training when it's separated from back training. If you want to get the Excel file for this program, I will be sharing it in my Facebook group, link in the description below. Join the group and you can download the program for free. If you really want to maximize muscle growth, check out my book, Advanced Hypertrophy Periodization, where I go through some really nuanced topics when it comes to setting up your nutrition and training for optimal results. You can find that book at my website, askdrswole.com. To see another simpler 5-day setup, check out this video where I share a program based on the push-pull legs upper-lower split. This combines the push-pull legs and upper-lower split into a 5-day setup, and it's a very well-balanced and versatile split. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to transform your physique and your life, and we'll see you next time.